Most folks know about ASCA and know what you guys are and what you do, but just give us a brief description for folks who may be less familiar.
Our mission is to enhance the quality of life and economic vitality for all Alabamians through supporting the state's diverse and rich artistic resources. We actually are a state agency, so I'm a state employee based here in Montgomery, but we work statewide in all 67 counties. Most people in the field know us because we have grants that we give away to mostly nonprofit arts organizations, but also some individual artist fellowships.
The Arts Council is developing some strategies to confront what's happening. What are some of the things you guys are doing as a state agency?
Things are evolving quickly, and we're still really just now starting to kind of really understand some of the nuance and impact on the ways people are being impacted. And so what we are doing will evolve as well and change as the kind of landscape changes and as we know more. The CARES bill that was passed included $75 million for the National Endowment for the Arts, which we have a partnership agreement with. And so 40% of that federal money goes back to states to re-grant within their states. So that is very much a kind of supplemental stimulus emergency appropriation on top of our normal federal dollars that we receive.
You guys have unprecedented access to artists in the state. How is this impacting them?
You know, kind of immediately there was launched a survey from Americans for the Arts. We first kind of directed people, organizations, to their national survey, and the data that was created or collected through that was used to really help inform some of the advocacy efforts that did result in the $75 million being included for the endowment, so that was really important. But we didn't see anything that was out there specifically for individual artists. That was kind of an area where we thought we really want to know more about how individual artists are being impacted, and so we developed that. Now this is prime time starting in March through April, May for outdoor festivals and exhibitions. But, you know, some of them actually kind of enumerated out for us in the survey, you know, this is how much I'd spent on, you know, entry fees that aren't being refunded. This is how much, you know, I would have averaged on sales that I'm not going to make. And one thing I had not, you know, really thought that much about, but it is so true, is even just the opportunity cost of that. You know, they aren't going to meet people at those exhibits or festivals now who may, you know, later this year commission them to create a piece, or may end up being a collector down the road. And so those lost kind of relationships and opportunity costs is something that's hard to kind of quantify right now, but is a very real impact.
How can those who are not artists be supportive to the arts in Alabama during this time?
If you had bought tickets to something, consider, instead of requesting a refund, to just make a donation. Anywhere that has a membership or that you can make an online donation, now's a great time to support arts organizations. But same kind of goes for individual artists. If, you know, they have a web presence and have an online store, now's a great time to buy some artwork or, you know, support them in some way.
Since social distancing and since some of us have been working from home and also not having public events, a common solution folks are going to is digital content and streaming content. But in some of our rural communities, folks don't have consistent access to things that are like a little bit cost prohibitive. So I was wondering if you'd heard any solutions that were very like regionally specific.
This crisis and pandemic has made visible things that some people have been aware of for a long time. And, you know, lack of rural broadband access is something that, you know, it's not a new issue. It's been an issue for many years, and, you know, on a positive note, has been receiving attention in Montgomery and I think DC. The CARES legislation that was passed, $50 million was given to the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences, and that's mostly going to be directed towards internet access, but of course that's a drop in the bucket of what will be needed on a national level. So I don't know how that will impact us here in Alabama, but I know that there are a lot of conversations happening.
My organization, the Coleman Center, has been part of a institutional health initiative, and so we're on these calls with other organizations, and they've pointed out that, for example, during the Great Recession in 2008, they didn't necessarily feel the effects of that kind of really dramatic global economic change immediately in 2008, they felt it farther down the road. So are there things that you guys are anticipating and there's ways you're planning beyond the kind of immediate relief measures?
At the very least, we're going to have some, federal stimulus money, that National Endowment for the Arts funding that will come to Alabama. That happened back in 2009. There was a federal NEA stimulus that came to Alabama. And so I'm kind of looking back and seeing how it was used then. It was primarily to support staff positions, continuity of those, or creation of new positions of people working within the arts. We're going to continue awarding our fellowships to individual artists. We've added a couple of those on for next year. But like I said, it's a very kind of rapidly evolving landscape out there. Knowing that there will be lengthy kind of repercussions because of this, we'll be trying to do whatever we can.
There's a lot of arts education resources that we have throughout the state. Are there some that you'd kind of point parents to who are occupying their children?
Our great friends and partners at Alabama Public Television have a lot of great resources online, promoting even more now that we have students out of the classrooms. Our office produces Alabama Arts Radio with Troy Public Radio, and we have an archive of almost 15 years of previous interviews, so folks can go back and listen to some of their favorite artists or learn about the arts through that. Visit your favorite or local kind of art institution or somewhere around the state's website. Check out their social media, and more things will be aggregated and put together.
Well, Elliot, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for giving us all this useful information.
Thanks, Jackie. It's been great talking with you, and thanks for all the great work you do with the Coleman Center. And everybody, stay safe, be well, and we look forward to seeing your art in the digital space and then in the real world later on this year.